You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit,
The show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out.
where Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan, entrepreneurs turned VCs.
With zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
Founders treat fundraising like a volume game. More emails, more quick intros, more decks flying around. That's not strategy, that's desperation with MailChimp. Real fundraising starts long before you open a round. Mapping the right investors, building relationships, and getting your metrics tight enough that you don't flinch when someone asks for the raw numbers. If you can't explain what you're raising, why now, and what it unlocks, you're not ready to take a dime.
Everybody wants smart money, but most investors would take a check from a cartoon villain if it meant the round closed faster. And then a year later, they're going to be shocked that the same investor is toxic in the boardroom, wrecks the next raise, plays games with the control. In 2026, you have more ways than ever to meet investors on platforms, curated lists, warm intros, but the bar for being taken seriously is even higher. This episode is about earning the right to ask for money, not just collecting rejections.
So last episode, we were talking through, as an investor, how do you find deals? Flip side of that coin, you're a founder.
Yep.
You're part of the management team. You're raising capital. How do you find investors? No investors are looking. How do you find them?
How do you find them? I don't know. Where they... Let's go with the dumb fucking joke there for a minute. Recalibrate. Yeah, great question. How do you find investors? This is terrible general advice, but if you ignore this, you're in a whole bunch of trouble.
It's at your own peril.
At your own peril. It's all about hustle, man. There is no easy way to raise money. There's simple ways to raise money. There's nothing easy. You gotta hustle. And it looks, it's the reciprocal of how do you find cash flow, or rather deal flow.
Yeah.
As an investor. You're looking for investor flow. You want to get in front of enough people. And that's just good old-fashioned reaching out, networking, in real life, talking to folks about what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And there's probably a process to get this started. But I want to set the ground from how do you do it? Be prepared to work a lot. Ask any founder, what's the thing they hate doing the most? Mm-hmm. Fundraising, period. It is a slog. It's typically not at all productive or revenue generating for your existing operations. It's a distraction. It's a necessary distraction, but it is a distraction.
So what is that order of operations? Where do you start?
So I think, you have to, the first thing you think about is you have to figure out, what am I going to raise? Should I raise? I mean, obviously you've landed at the decision, I need more money to do A, B, and C, or A, or any combination. So you need to figure out, how much money do I need? How much money do I need? So that's going to be the first order of operation. I know I need money. How much is it? What does it get accomplished? Mm-hmm. And we've said this before. We'll say it on future episodes. Whatever number you think it is, double it.
It's more.
It's more.
Yeah.
I did the math, Mike. It's super close. If I carry the 3 and divide by 17 and I look at 2026 for I only need $13,000. Mm-hmm. No, you need 26. You don't know it, but it's the law of the jungle. Twice as long, twice as much money. So, order of operation, how much? Mm-hmm. And I think then the next piece is you need to say, if that's how much I'm going to do, or how much I need to raise, I need to then do another calculation around, what's my company worth? How much of my company am I going to give up if I'm going to do an equity play, or if I'm going to commit to a loan or some other vehicle to make an investment? But let's say this is an equity play. You figure out what your company's worth. Good luck with everybody agreeing with you on that, but you do need to figure that out. So if I'm raising $1 million and I tell you my company's worth $100 million, you're going to get a lot of weird looks. You say I'm raising $1 million on 4 or 5, that seems more reasonable. You seem like you have your head screwed on somewhat appropriately. So I think those are some of the first two things you need to figure out on what you're going to do. And I'll just say this, when you make that calculation of how much, it's not just how much, you have to then be able to story tell, but grounded in facts and your spreadsheet porn of what does that get me? What does that investment buy me? If I take $1 million from you, Josh, in our scenario of $1 million on a $5 million valuation, do I add 15 salespeople? Do I add 100 new accounts because of the sales deal? Does my valuation go from 5 to 10, or does it go from 5 to 50?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to tell that story because everyone's going to ask you later.
Yeah.
And
Not
they're
only
going to,
what is it going to do, but where is it going to end up getting you?
yes,
Does it get you to the next round? Does it get you to an exit? Does it get
Profitability.
you to right? Wherever it gets you. I would say yes to all of that, and you should understand where same or similar companies are raising or have recently raised. So if a company that is not necessarily a competitor, but similar enough in the space that you're in, recently raised $1 million on a $20 million valuation, and you're trying to raise $30 million on a, it's like, no. I mean, people, even if you can justify, hey, this is what that 30 million is going to do, here's where it's going to take me. If it's so far out of the realm of what other people in your space are trying to accomplish, you're going to get rejected.
There's a little bit of read the room there, isn't it? Like
100%.
What's going on in this market, my marketplace, et cetera.
And those things are not that difficult to discover. I mean, you don't need $50,000 a year subscription to PitchBook or the paid version of Crunchbase to figure those things out, especially now. I mean, throw it into Claude, Gemini. Hey, who is, here's my space. Who in my space is raising money? How much have they raised? Who the fuck did they get it from?
Yeah.
And
what's the value there?
What's the right value? What
do
are they
like
valuations
recurring
at?
revenue? Do they like market growth? Do they like straight up profitability percentage, EBITDA percentage? Who knows? I think that's
Take
smart.
a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon, whatever time you've got just to focus on that. It takes a couple hours of just digging around. You can pretty quickly figure out, okay, what's the range in which I should be asking at a valuation of what? And you should be able to get to a decent number that won't get you laughed out of the room immediately.
I talked about storytelling as sort of the next order of operation.
Yep.
Because I think it sets up how you're going to do your pitch deck. What do you want your forecasted numbers to look like? Again, it needs to reflect reality, but don't lose it in storytelling. Now, I'm a sales guy, and that's how I think about the world, and that's how I go and get it. Because I know, in my experience, people move on emotion and storytelling more than facts and figures. How do you think about that? So you're the right side of the brain, left brain? Where are you? Right or left brain? I'm trying to remember. You're
right.
You're analytical.
Yeah.
So
I'm the correct side of the brain.
So when you pitch me, I fall in love with your story.
Yeah.
When you see that, so that's what would you say? Like, know your numbers? Is that more important than the story it tells?
I think the numbers, yes, and the numbers need to be part of the story. Right? You're not just painting a picture of rainbows and sunshine. It's here's what this means, right? There's real traction. So whatever those metrics are, if it's revenue, if you can demonstrate that there's customer adoption, whatever facts and figures you have that prove you have a business, those absolutely should be part of your story. In your story, you need to get through all the important pieces and catch the headline in less than 2 minutes. Because I'm done listening after 2 minutes. It's just, not to be a dick. I mean, I am a dick, but not to be one.
On brand.
All humans are going to lose focus, right?
Yes.
So you got a hard-hitting, really well-rehearsed, the cliche of elevator pitch is a real thing. I mean, 2 minutes or less, you got to be able to tell your story, what you're doing, what you're raising and why, and where it's going to get you. And why are you talking to me? Like, the call to action is, hey, Mike, I need $1 million. Get your checkbook out. I
don't know why I don't. What you said around, they both have to tell a story. And I think that's true. I think we're both saying the same thing. We both agree. How many times have we been in a meeting or heard a pitch and a founder says to you, look, my chart says it's going up and to the right. I'm going to have $45 million by the end of this meeting. And you're like,
is that something you would be interested in?
Is that something you'd be like? You need to fucking tell me a story, guy. You need to get out of the spreadsheet. What does that look like? I'm going to be the market leader in under 24 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 50 state penetration in the next 12 months. In the next 3 years, whatever that is. you're weaving numbers into a story that gets me excited as an investor. And when I'm the market leader, when I'm in 50 states, when I secure the flag. What are we playing?
Capture the flag.
Once I've done that, then we win and I can exit. And our thinking right now is we can exit for $100 million.
Yeah.
That's you're taking those facts and supporting a story that you want to see happen. That's what I'm advocating for. So when you start, before you even can start looking for those investors, you better have a story of success, a story of return on investment, all kinds of positivity in your direction. You obviously can put some demirs in there and put in some breaks, like, hey, the challenge we have is this, but we think we've got it. I think we can figure out that challenge in pricing or regulation or whatever it is in your space. But boy, oh boy, you can. And the other is true too. I'm talking about our shared experiences with founders who pitch us only on the numbers, fall asleep to your point.
Yep. And I'm a numbers guy, and I'll still fall asleep with just numbers.
And then there's the dreamers, right? I have an idea, a concept that will change everyone's world instantly. I need your money to do that. Okay, bit more, please. And they do is storytell or like weave a fantasy. I'm like, okay, do you have any real traction there, Shakespeare? Do you got Bill Shakespeare? Remember that's the thing. Do you have any real data to tie that to? So you can lose people on both ends, weaving that, being a good storyteller, backed by the numbers, traction, what you think you can get done. Yeah. And it could be all forward-looking too, but still put those numbers in.
Well, so that's a good point, because depending on where you're at, your company's at, your story may be different. From a venture perspective, in the stage of life cycle in which we invest, we want to see that there's a real business there, that they have some kind of traction. Our belief is, hey, no amount of money is going to fix a bad business. So you got to prove to us you have a good business. That story is going to look different than if you do have just an idea and I need 25 grand to get this started. You're going to be pitching a different audience with a different story, and you may not have the data to show that this is a real business with traction. You may just have some market insights.
I'm wondering if you shouldn't put that on your voicemail. No amount of money will make your company any better if it sucks.
If you have a shitty company.
But leave me a message. We'll get back to you on your pitch deck. I think there's a T-shirt there. There's a coffee mug thing. I like what you said there. And it's true.
Maybe that's how we monetize this podcast. We start selling T-shirts with phrases.
Let's utilize Spotify. It makes it so easy. Spotify, if you're listening, what an opportunity to be talking to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We're very reasonably priced right now.
Yeah.
We're going to be a big deal
Come
later.
in as be our lead sponsor. Burn Rain Bullshit. Sponsored by
Spotify.
That's got a ring to it.
Sure it does.
It does.
Sponsored by Spotify.
Sponsored by
But so I love that. So now I'm an investor. I figured out why I need to raise. I figured out the milestones, and I now I've got a decent story to tell, Josh. Now what? Do I put that plan under my pillow at night, hoping there'll be a quarter or $1 from the Tooth Fairy?
I agree with your earlier statement that fundraising is a hustle. It's a grind. You have to really put in a ton of time. What I struggle with in that is a lot of people think I just have to do more, and that's what the grind and the hustle means. And that's not true from my experience. You have to do more, but you have to do more in a very targeted way. Who invests in your space? Who writes check sizes in the amounts that you will need? Go after people that are likely to invest in you. Don't just go after everybody.
Preach it.
Which so much time when people say, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, it's the spray and pray.
Well, let me. I'm in the front row of the choir, and you're the preacher. Preach it. Amen. What people mistake sometimes, what founders mistake, the hard work, the grind is, it's not just bugging the piss out of 5 people every single day. Hey, do you want to invest? Do you want to invest? Do you want to invest?
Right.
The grind is doing all the work and answering all the questions in advance. To what you said, the grind could be not actually calling anybody, but being discerning. I know this person likes healthcare. I know this investor invested in tech. I know this investor is into whiskey. That's part of the grind.
Absolutely.
It's not just, like you said, more isn't always more. You need to do the necessary prep work, ask the questions, trial closes. Do you have Do you have other people working on your behalf trying to make warm and cold intros?
Yep.
And again, part of that grind, part of your job is, hey, don't just you tell your people that are trying to help you. Tell you what, you need to make sure that they understand it's this, not this and this and this. That too is part of that. That's just being disciplined with message, disciplined with who you approach.
Yeah.
That's so critical. I know first-time founders, people that are really ambitious and have not done it before, you need all that. And they're the first to succumb to, I'm going to call everybody. Like they will get on the phone like, hey, let me talk to Kleiner Perkins. I want to get on there. Like, slow down, pal. The smallest check they write is $100 million. You're not breathing. But they don't know, but they're going to hustle. And it's just as wrong to call somebody who only invests in agriculture for your healthcare tech startup. They're not coming out. So I want to emphasize that. That's also part of the grind is do more, but do it smartly.
Yeah.
And the smart is just as hard as doing more.
So you do that work, you understand, okay, this is the list of 10, 50, 100 people that are likely to invest in a space like mine. I'm going to go after them. How do you go after them? Warm intros are probably great if you can get them. If you know someone that knows someone, get that intro. And that's not going to likely be where you get a lot of introductions. A lot of times, in my experience at least, it's going to be a cold introduction. You're reaching out to them through LinkedIn, through an email. What does that look like? Because I've had some really great ones that I'm like, oh, I got to talk to this person. This seems really compelling. And for every one of those, I probably have 10 where it's like, oh, Jesus. Like, you can't even take an unlimited amount of time to write an email in a very succinct way and tell me about who you are, what your business is, and why I should be interested in 2 sentences. Why the fuck should I talk to you in person?
Right. So I want to so this would be my advice to everybody, especially first-time founders, CEOs, side hustlers, all those people. Maybe you've done it before. We're missing what I think is a critical step. We're on it, but I think people will always view this differently. Once we've answered those questions, go to your friends and family first. Yeah. Go to your friends and everyone like, oh, it's a friends and family around. And somehow people either think that's dismissive or they think that that's a unsophisticated approge. Or
that's cute.
Oh, that's nice. You know, Uncle Jimmy's in with you. Yeah, fucker. Jimmy's in because he trusts me. He's going to support me. I'm surrounded by awesome people that trust me. That's a good fact pattern. So go talk to your rich uncle. Yeah. You know, grandma who's sitting on a ton of cash, mom and dad. Now you've got to be clear with your family and your friends. Hey, you could lose all of this, so don't give me the family fortune. But I'll tell you what, you are a moron if you walk by the people who know, trust, and like you the most. Yeah. Because if you're raising $1 million, you might get your first $100,000 from somebody in your intimate network. You know, that's true. Family, friends, people who went to college with. You know, hey, Josh is doing pretty well. He's working for a VC fund. Let me approach him. You should be getting approached by friends and family often. I get approached by friends and family often. So let's start there because I think walking into any other conversation after that, you can say, I've got 2 nickels to rub together and I've got some dollars together. I maybe have invested, include that into it. So,
well, in terms of really dialing in your pitch and the story, your family, your friends are a great audience to practice that on.
And an easy one too. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that you're going to have your father, I don't know if you have any daddy issues, but your dad might give you some really unfiltered advice. Like, that was terrible. Sit up when you're talking.
My dad typically gives me very unfiltered advice.
Speak up, Josh. You're mumbling. I can't even understand a word you're saying.
No son of thine.
Take back that Robinson name. But no, it's right. It should be great practice for you in a comfortable setting, so you're not a complete mess the first time talking to somebody else. But to your question earlier, what do I do? So it's almost a progression. You go from the people you know and trust, friends and family, and then it goes to friends and family. It's the is it Mary Kay at Amway? Do you remember these multi-level? Yeah. Who else do you know would be interested in what I'm selling? I just would you mind writing down 10 referrals for me? Then I can call them and I can say, I'm calling on your behalf. Are you okay with that? You look them in the eye and you shake your head up and down and they start to shake their head up and down. That's what you do. Hey, do you have 1 or 2 or 3 people I could get into who's got extra money, who likes to make investments, who would trust you? Their word would mean something. You start to do that. Then you get a bunch of warm intros. Yeah. And you talk to not just people who've invested money with your friends and family. You call I want to make sure founders understand this. Want to raise money? Call every motherfucker you know and tell them what you're doing. Maybe leave out the MF part, but
Or not.
call everybody you know and tell them what you're doing. And I don't expect you, sir or madam, to invest, but what I really like is someone who you know who likes to invest, who's an existing angel investor, who would like to hear this and see this. Can you at least give me a name if you're not going to give me a check?
Yeah. Well, there's that old cliche. If you want to ask for money, ask for advice.
Did I invent that? I feel like I invented that.
You say it a lot. I don't know if you invented it, but
If you want advice, ask for money.
Yeah.
And if you want money, ask for advice.
Yep.
And what we mean by that is, hey, Josh, I'd like $500,000 for my new business. What are you going to tell me? Hey, you know how you should do that?
Yeah.
You should not ask me for it. Go ask all these other people.
Yeah.
And they'll do that.
Yep.
And the other ways is like, hey, you know what, Josh? I'm looking to raise $500,000, and this company's actually going to be worth $1 billion in 2 years. Do you know how I could raise that? Would anybody like?
Yeah, where should I start? Here's my pitch deck. Give me some feedback.
Do you know anybody that's interested in free money? Do you know anybody who's interested in that? Like, matter of fact, I want to.
Let me get my
money.
checkbook. Yeah.
So there's a bit of that. So you can.
And we're being funny with that, but there's a lot of truth to
Ton of
that.
psychology behind that. You ask for money cold, they are already scrambling for fucking ways to get out
They're
of. Telling
looking
you
for
no.
the exit.
They don't want to say no because they look cheap, or they don't want to let your feelings down with it because maybe they don't trust you. But they'll extend an offer to somebody to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what I would do is I'd go talk to, Michael Corleone. He's got a family business that's doing pretty well. He likes making investments. He takes an interest in the neighborhood. As one example.
Go to the mob.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your advice.
So, not right away.
Yeah. As a backup.
As a
backup.
friends and family could be Costa Nostra. I mean, who's to say? But I do think in that order. So where do you start? You nail down all of the thinking ahead of time. You go to friends and family, get those pitches out of the way, and then you need to start proactively asking for referrals from the people you know already and like and trust you.
Yep.
So think of everybody you've ever worked for, anybody who's ever worked for you, cousins, brothers, people you played football with back at St. John's, whoever it is. That's how you do it. And eventually, there was Harvard did the study. You're going to get to the numbers. Your quantity is eventually going to get your quality. That's the way this will work. I'm going to refer to my notes here because there was a.
Look at you doing research and show prep.
Well, I mean I'm synonymous with that. I mean I think that's pretty clear. But Harvard Business Review.
Never heard of it.
The average seed raise, a founder had to contact 58 investors. Guess how many meetings you get out of 58?
Probably 10%.
Wow, terrible. You have terrible friends in your network. 10% of your. I'm going to get to the study. So you go to friends and family, around 58 people you contact in your seed, then you get 40 meetings.
Oh, it's with friends and family. I didn't understand that part.
I should say.
Okay.
Maybe don't be such a dick and your friends and family will take more meetings with you.
There is that. There's that.
Good feedback.
Noted.
Those 40 meetings will lead to 12-ish closes. And their stat that they go through is you close 5% of the people you approach for a meeting. So do the math on and if you think the average check is going to be 25, 50,000, whatever you think it might be, start to reverse engineer that math. And you realize the scale of how much you need to bang on doors, get warm referrals, because closed circuit, you can't do it alone. You're going to need people who know, like, and trust you to help you with your raise. And you need to sort of deputize them. Say, hey, I'm looking to raise. So if you ever find somebody, oh my God, you send them my way. You got
to hear someone. Yeah, let me know. Yeah.
Let me know.
So what are some of the turnoffs as an investor? You're getting pitched. What are the things you see or hear that are like, ooh, that's a red flag. I'm out. I don't want to do it.
Well, red flags versus dislikes, I can go either direction.
You do you.
So dislikes, here's what I would tell you. If you're a first-time founder, if you are a...
you don't like first-time founders?
No. I said if you are one.
Okay.
What I need you to do is not keep it really long. Don't take an hour-long meeting with me and go just fucking AI level deep on everything. Give me it really simply. Tell it to me as if I'm a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Give it to me really simply. I need to understand that. Then I'll ask some follow-up questions behind that. So annoying ones, and this is also, you should avoid this. If you're going really ridiculously deep and wide and long in the meeting about stuff that just doesn't matter, that is a red flag. It annoys me, and it's a red flag. Like, oh, you can't discern what's important.
Yeah.
Not everything is important. I can understand the concept of your niche. Walk me through some of that, but I don't need it all. If you can't, I mean, you talked about an elevator pitch. You have to have different versions of that, and to talk to an experienced, sophisticated investor, you better rip through what's important about your business. This is what I do. This is why it's different. I charge this. My offer is amazing. Here's my traction, maybe. This is how I make money. This is how we exit. Wrap that up in 10 minutes. And if I'm interested, then let's push in. So I think if you don't get sort of the meeting you're in, sophisticated investors see that as a red flag. You don't know where you're at in the process. I'm not looking for the deep dive now. I want to just kind of, is this a quick yes or a quick no for me? Like, yes, let's continue to ask. So that's one thing. When people think like, here, let me share with you my 1,700 page slide deck.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We're going to need at least an hour, Josh. Bring in lunch.
So that's one for me, is the pitch deck. It needs to be, I don't know what the right length is. I don't think there is a quote right number of slides. And it needs to be less than 15.
Yep.
10. I mean, less is more
Always.
at this stage. Well, I want to talk about a data room and just what other detail you really need when you're in a raise.
Yep.
But when you're in the pitch, that's not the spot. So less is more. And please, sweet baby Jesus, don't fucking read me the slides. I've already looked at them, right? That's what got you the goddamn meeting. So we got the slides in front of us.
If you were nicer, your family would meet with you. If you were nicer, your family and friends would meet with you.
Family? Who's that?
Never heard.
You should be able to have the slide in front of you, not read it,
And riff on it.
and riff. Tell me the story. We'll leaf through the slides as you're doing it. But if you fucking look at your deck, I'm out. You should know it. You should know it. It's
funny,
there as a backdrop.
I've never thought of that because it does get annoying when your slide is like 13 paragraphs.
You've been in those pitches.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
all
like,
fucking
oh my God.
words, and they fucking read it to you. Like you're a
single-
moron.
Right. It's funny how you say that. I naturally, let's talk about me for a minute.
Yeah, because we never do.
Yeah. I'm Mike Nathan. I'm one of the co-hosts here.
Oh, hi, Mike. I didn't see you over there.
What I do it naturally, like I don't speak to it. I speak to everything around it. Like if I'm telling you I'm going to grow at 50%,
Yeah.
we're going to drop, if I'm walking through a slide, I know they can see it. And I don't put a lot of words on my slides. As you know, we've raised plenty of money together. I don't put a lot of words. I show pictures. I put concepts, bullet points, 10 slides less. You can raise a ton of money on that. If they want to go deeper on something, of course, they'll ask, and then you can provide that level of experience. But in those early rounds, those early pitches, oh my God, 10 slides, speak to it, just riff on each. Say, one slide I'm going to talk about what the market's doing. The next slide I'm talking about our growth. The next one I'm talking about our team. To your point, I don't need to read that off a sheet of paper or a slide deck. I can talk to you as a human. And guess what happens? When you're comfortable doing that, I can be watching you, Josh, checking your body language. I can be ready to listen for a question or how you ask the question. So yeah, decks need. And by the way, first time I meet you, I don't need the 10-pager either.
No.
Send me a 1-pager.
1-pager.
1-pager. Super highlight. Hey, are you interested in free money in the healthcare space? I've got all kinds of it. Wow. A little more substantive than that. But to be clear, and Josh loves and maybe hates this about me, when you're raising money, that's a sales document. That's not a affidavit from a court of law. I'm not advocating being dishonest. I'm saying understand you need to sell that shit.
Yeah.
There's too many founders, we know some, that will not advocate at the highest level for their. You need to advocate for your team, your company. Do not sell that short. This is where you get to sort of say, hey, I'm going to be an industry leader. I'm going to be a big deal someday.
Yes. So that's probably my biggest turnoff in a live interaction is how do you deliver the pitch? Are you reading the deck? I can't handle that. Probably the other really big turnoff or red flag for me is an unrealistic amount of money. It's a little
Give
bit.
some examples there.
Well, there's a little bit talking out of both sides of our mouths, right? Because we just said, hey, you need twice as much as you think.
Yeah.
But we also said, hey, look at what's happening in the market. How much are people raising? From whom? What's the valuation? We've had some, med devices. We've had some products that are well before revenue that are not in the healthcare space, and they've got a valuation of $50 million, and they want to raise $30 million to go to the moon. And you look at it, it's like, okay, you don't have any revenue yet. Fuckers, you don't even have a product yet. You have a drawing, right? And so know where you're at in the process and just asking for a realistic amount of money that is going to be enough to get you to wherever you need to go.
Read the room, be self-aware, right?
Those two things drive me insane. And the other thing, and again, this talks a little bit out of both sides of our mouth, but you don't need to necessarily have all the answers when you get into these things. So if you do get a question and we're like, whew, that's a great point. We're still looking into that to better understand it. Let me get back to you. And then fucking get back to the person. Yeah. But you can get out. You don't have to have all the answers.
No, you don't. And I want to build on that for a minute because what you just said, like, you need to have all the answers. Your numbers need to make sense. If you can articulate your thinking in it, so even we say raise twice as much money.
Yeah.
I would smile ear to ear and be more likely to grab my check than not. If you said, hey, I'm asking my budget says I'm going to need $500,000 to get to profitability, but I'm asking for $1 million because God knows what Trump's going to do in this administration. Who knows what, I don't know, make up the scenario, right? Like there's a lot of black swan stuff. And I've been told it always takes twice as long and twice as much money. I'd be like, this guy or gal knows what they're talking about.
Or if you're a repeat founder, from my experience, it takes twice as long and twice as much money.
And if you say that to sophisticated investors, there's sort of a sigh of relief, like, okay, he's humble enough to know that he's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna miss a mark. He's gonna need more time and money. And even the really good ones don't get it right. So that would holy cow, assuage a lot of fears.
You'll see people lean in when you say things like that rather than cross their arms.
And not only does it signal that, when I think about early stage companies, I fall in love with business models for sure, but I will never, ever write a check into somebody who I don't like or trust.
Yep.
So if you come off as someone trustworthy, you're a decent dude, you're not a complete jackass, I'll write you a check. Early stage, it is about that founder or that leadership team at the very beginning outweighs the business model so much. If you're later stage and it's more mature, then I'm going to look at the business model more because clearly they have executors, right? So I'm going to look at the business model. So to your point, you don't need to know it all, but if you can start talking about how you're thinking about things, then I start to get behind you, and now you're starting to tell a story, right? We talked about
exactly.
that. Now I'm leaning in. Okay, I get what this guy's doing. That makes sense. Now you might be telling people how you're thinking, and maybe like, well, that's the dumbest way to approach that. And they're not for you, and you don't want their money because the minute you screw up later, they're like, see, I told you, you should have been going left that whole time, but you were going right.
It's that cartoon villain you mentioned before, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
So one more thing I want us to touch on before we end is if you're asking money from friends and family, you almost certainly do not need a data room. For a couple reasons. The number one is you probably don't have any fucking data to put in the data room. If you're at a point where you're taking professional money, so you're now talking to venture capital, you're talking to some potentially family offices or really high net worth individuals, you likely will need a data room. That to me, we hadn't talked about that in order
for those
of
who don't know,
operations.
what the fuck is a data room?
A virtual data room.
Because I want to vomit every time I hear data room.
I know you do, because that's not your thing, the details. You usually delegate that to some of your partners, as an example.
As one example.
But a data room is, and it's like a Dropbox, there's secure file, there's a dozen different applications out there that you can
put sensitive stuff into.
Some are free, some are paid, but you put sensitive information in and then you grant access to people to use it. Honestly, if you're doing a full-on securities issue and doing a raise, you likely have an attorney involved in drafting the paperwork. You should, right? We've already talked about that. Most often, your law firm has an enterprise agreement with a data room provider, and they will do that on your behalf.
It's like a Dropbox is what it is. It's a Dropbox.
You can also do it on your own. But the things that you typically want to have ready to go and in the data room, because there's going to be the number one thing, you get through the pitch, someone wants to go deeper, here's the things they're looking for.
Yeah.
They want to see your corporate documents. Are you actually fucking set up? in the states in which you said you are? Are you incorporated the way that they want to see it? Are you an LLC? Are you a C corp? Are you?
It's another.
I know
episode.
I'm rage baiting you, but
fucking A.
so are those in there? Any internal prepared financials? You don't need to have an audit. Likely at this point in your career of your life cycle, you don't have an audit. But do you have internal prepared financials? Do you have any tax returns? Put those things out there. Any contracts that you have in place,
Big or small,
with vendors, so money going out the door, or with customers, money coming in the door. Big or small, any contract you have.
signed a contract with fucking Intuit QuickBooks.
Employment agreements. Do you have any equity agreements with other management? Any of those types of contracts you have, just put them out there because it's going to be one of the things that they ask for.
And some of that seems nitpicky, but I'm telling you, there's somebody, any investor, depending on what you're asking for, but investors want to see that stuff. And not that you need to have more of it, but the fact that you have it, it's gathered, it's centralized, speaks a little more to your credibility as an operator. Where if you're like, oh yeah, where did I put my keys? Where the hell is the keys to the front door? I don't know. Let me get back to you. And it's a month later, like, I'm for real. I was just asking for a phone bill.
Yeah.
You have a phone bill.
Yeah. So part of it is the check the box on their part, just a risk mitigation, due diligence thing. That's number one what they're doing. Very close second is that they actually have their shit together.
Yeah.
Is this founder's poop in a group or not?
Well, and to be clear, for those founders, like, oh my God, I'm scattered. I don't have anything. But it doesn't take that much time. And number two.
But do it before someone asks.
Do it before someone asks. And if you are to say, hey, listen, if you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs, you don't have the shit together, shame on you. You're probably not the
you're not the person
if
that's
you're
going to
grow
grow
God,
this.
I'm too busy fucking fielding phone calls and I got the sewing machines in back running overtime and I got 3 lines going. Yeah, if you're not completely tied up, people will see that and bounce on, oh, they're growing so fucking fast. He doesn't have time to put his shit together. Then it's like, oh yeah, you hire an assistant, hire some staff.
Maybe that's part of what this money is for, right?
Exactly.
Is to bring in a director of finance or bring an accountant in or something.
I've always said, as an old sales guy or current sales guy, I'm still.
I think once a sales guy, always a sales guy. ABC.
ABC. Well, I'm nearly the same cliched response, but sales hides all your sins.
Yeah.
If you can outperform all your other fucked up habits by better sales and more sales, good for you. Not every opportunity is like that. So if you're not wired tight, you better be killing it in sales on the other end. Investors will look at that. Anybody who can get the 7 figures in revenue in a year or two, I know a couple guys that can do that. You're an operator.
Yeah.
You're an operator. If it takes you fucking 5 years to get to $1 million, rethink it. And your shit's still not together, rethink what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or get a coach.
Yeah.
Hire somebody.
It's a bad business.
It's either
and
bad
money's
business.
not going to fix that, right?
Money doesn't fix that.
Or you're just a bad operator. Or both.
Yeah. Or not good at sales. Hire a good sales guy or gal,
Yeah.
right? Or figure out a new way to sell it. So that to me, the opposite of a good data room being all ready to go, another checkbox for that investor to say yes to you. So when you're preparing your slide, prepare your data room. Because a serious investor will ask you, hey, can I see the investment documents from your attorney? Can I see, do you have any outstanding loans? Walking through, you need to have that. Like, oh yeah, every time they ask for something, you don't want to be, scramble for 3 days to find it and get back to them. When they're going to just look at it for 55 seconds, not very long. Okay, yeah, they have it. Cool. And you just fucked around for 2 days.
Right.
So
Right.
I love the data room approach too.
Yeah, just be ready for that because if you're asking for serious money, serious investors are going to ask for that very quickly, and you want to be ready for that.
I want to talk about one other thing. I know you want to wrap this, but understanding raising money as a first-time founder or first time that you're raising the money. What you want to be doing is start with family, work out through those connections, and you keep moving a layer out and a layer. And eventually you're going to run into professional money, angel investors, people like that are sophisticated. That's how you know you're moving. If you just keep talking to people, I really don't invest like this, I've never made an investment, you keep doing it, you're asking the wrong people. You need to refresh your ask of referrals to say, do you know anybody who's interested in investing like this? Do you have any big pocketed cats in your network? That's how it'll tell you. And eventually you'll get there. And as you go along, bring that momentum, bro. If you tell me yes to a $50,000 check, I'm texting, calling, emailing everybody. Josh is in. Who else? Every time I get a new investor, I blast all my existing and prospect people that are considering investment. Somebody else is in.
Yep.
And I keep fucking doing that until everyone's like, well, what am I missing out on?
Yeah.
Josh is in.
FOMO.
Josh is a huge dick. He's terrible to everybody. If he's in, he must really like it. What a great opportunity. I'm in.
That fucker says no to everything.
He says no to everything.
He said no to this?
Yeah.
He said
So
yes?
build that momentum.
Yeah.
And there's even FOMO in there. Again, that's the same psychology or some of the psychology of if you really want solid advice, ask them for money. And if you want some money, ask for advice. How would I help make a bunch of people a whole bunch of money? Do you have any, how could I do that? I want those to be some of the takeaways when we think about this. And by the way,
Those are good ones.
nobody needs a degree for this. Nobody needs special training. You need YouTube on your fucking phone to listen to us and then go hustle. That's all you need. So don't get people out there, don't give me any shit you can't do it. It's just that simple.
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike is a sponsor? Love this. What was the other one?
Spotify. No.
Spotify. Yeah, Spotify.
No.
Shopify.
Shopify.
And Spotify.
Spotify too.
Uh-huh.
Except those guys keep banning our episodes.
You've got dirty words.
No, because of the theme song.
They hate Warren Zevon?
They keep saying that it's copyright. We don't have the rights to it.
But we're doing it the right way, though.
Yeah, I know. No one else has a problem. But Spotify does.
Spotify, if you're looking for another way to get your word out, we would be a great venue for you, great channel for you.
108,000 subscribers?
Kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal.
Quit
I don't know how to say
that.
this.
Quit saying that. Quit telling people that.
The more you say it, the more I don't believe it. We could probably
That's
put a
something.
pin there.
Yeah.
So true.
That's it for this round of Burn Rate and Bullshit.
Where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee.
Do you like what you heard? Great. If you didn't, even better. We're not here to make friends.
Hit like and subscribe, share it with someone who needs a reality check, and remember, hype dies and execution wins. Stop pitching and start proving. Next time on Burn Rate and Bullshit, we're hitting business ethics. Where's the line between aggressive and predatory? Creative accounting and outright fraud. If your growth plan only works when people look away, you don't have a strategy. You have a scandal coming.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.